What's up, guys? I'm your host, Mike C. Squared, and this week we need to talk about Konami losing their damn minds. Jared Leto's in a new Netflix movie, and Joss Whedon got fired from Batgirl. All that and more on this episode of One Giant Leap for Geeks.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for
Geeks. Okay, guys, so this week we are going to talk about a few different things. Why am I doing this? I'm going to have to cut this out too, because I forgot I have to record a intro already to explain what we're going to talk about in the first place. So yeah, disregard this whole thing. Mike will cut this out. Okay. Okay.
Starting off on a good foot there.
All right. Okay, so this week we are going to nail down a name for Melissa.
Yes.
We're going to get into the topics later, but this is important. This is important. We got to get this out of the way first.
Should we let them vote, or should we just...
Oh, that would be awesome. You know what? I should do that. I should do a poll on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a poll on Facebook. I'm going to let you guys decide what Melissa's name is going to be. We'll come up with some options.
Well, I mean, we have two.
Yeah.
The random two that we come up with.
Well, go ahead. What?
No. We'll leave it for the Facebook.
Okay, all right. Oh, God. I think they're hilarious.
Should we have an option to write in your own?
Yeah.
Maybe pull some other brains, see what...
Yeah, I'll have like 3 options. Then as a 4th one, it'll be like, well, what would you suggest?
Right. Add your own or something like that. So look forward for that.
Yeah,
That'd be exciting.
Coming down the pipe soon, right?
I don't know. Leaving my fate in our listeners' hands.
Right. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's
Please be nice, people. Please be nice. That's all I gotta say.
What? Damn, there was a thing where they let people on the internet vote for the name of a boat. And I think it came out, it was like something Tuggy McTugboats or something. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, please be nice.
Yeah.
Stay clear of the sexual references. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
Facebook's a family show.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be like Captain Period or something like that. I'm sure it'll be something just terrible.
So should we tell them about our newest little trinkets?
Yes. No, go ahead. Explain. I will not steal your thunder.
I got the brilliant idea one night to make us mugs. Actually, after the last show, we were sitting here, and by the end of the show, we were both thirsty. And
yes, very parched mouths.
So I said, we should have mugs, and then we could write the logo on the front of it. And then I started thinking, well, hell, I can make mugs. So I went and I found some cheap colored mugs, and lo and behold, he's got one and I've got another, and they look pretty damn cool.
Mm-hmm. And you can buy these at our merchandise store.
No, not for production.
Right. No. She's going to be in a sweatshop cranking these bitches out, so get your orders ready, kids. You too can enjoy these limited edition, low in stock. There's only 2 available currently. One Giant Leap for Geeks coffee mugs. Yes. Tell your friends. Okay, anyway, all right, we're going to go ahead and get into this shit.
Yes, let's do this.
All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about is the Metal Gear. Metal Gear Survive came out just the other day, and this is the first game Konami has put out in the Metal Gear series that didn't have the creator Hideo Kojima in it. Now, I know you said that you haven't played any of the Metal Gear games, but
are they on Xbox, PlayStation?
Yeah, both consoles and PC, I think too.
Okay.
But yeah, basically it's that stealth game where you ever seen like the guy, he hides in a box and stuff like that.
I think my brother plays Metal Gear.
If you've ever seen a reference to that, somebody hiding in a cardboard box, it's a reference to the Metal Gear franchise. Because you literally can do that in a game. And, you know, it's been around for a while, and Hideo Kojima, the guy who created the franchise, he's very leaning into like movie territory, so a lot of his games feel like movies. Like there's cutscenes that are sometimes 20-30 minutes long. It's like a mini movie in the game.
Okay.
And a lot of his shit's very cinematic and stuff with his characters and the world building and stuff like that. And you know, he has done a lot of stuff to innovate video games in ways that people would have never thought of. Like, I believe in the very first Metal Gear game, the very last boss that you fight, the villain, he can read your mind. Oh. And in real life, he would tell you, like, text would come up on the screen and he would talk about games that you've played in real life. He would be like, oh, I see that you like Sonic Adventures or something like that. Because the game was reading stuff off your memory card. Okay. And then the villain would say to you, the player, he would be like, he was reading your mind and he knew these things.
That's
and
crazy.
The only way that you could beat him, because every time you would try and move to one direction or another, he would always follow you. The only way you could beat him was you would have to take the controller out and plug it into the second player port and play that way in order to beat him, because then he couldn't read your mind, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes right now if you can't see that.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's just kind of like some of the things outside of the box things that he does in his games. And so he's like done shit like that, and it's become kind of his trademark to do these kind of outside the box innovations in games that people aren't doing.
Okay.
Well,
so he's like a front man for some games.
Yeah. He's
technology.
He's an auteur, you could say. You know, he's very artsy. Yes, you could say that. But he was fired from Konami, and he's been developing this other game, but they still own the rights to the Metal Gear franchise.
Okay.
So this is the first game that's been released since he's left the company.
Gotcha.
And it seems like they're changing it a lot. It basically feels like it's just going to be a, zombie game like a lot of the other games. And it's called Metal Gear Survive. They're not technically zombies, but basically they're fucking zombies.
Got some flesh-eating...
Pretty much, yeah. They're
shit.
Mutated by some shit, some Resident Evil type deal. They're fucking zombies. Basically, though, the whole point that I wanted to talk about this was because the game just came out, and one of the things that people have been finding as they've been playing the game, because not a lot of reviews and stuff have come out yet, because they basically told people that they could not review the game until right before its release. Well, I'm getting this from, I'm reading this off GameRant.com. It says that players across all three platforms can access an online store for Metal Gear Survive, which features items called SV coins. Pricing options run from 100 SV coins for 99 cents to a big bundle coin for $50. And then here's the full breakdown of available options. Then they just give a breakdown of how many coins you get per tier of price. The reason that this is important is because, like I talked about before, microtransactions have been leaking into console games more and more lately. And when it kind of first started with like free-to-play and mobile games, people don't really care because it's like, hey, you got the game for free. If you want to spend a little, $1 here or there to get some extra coins or something or some diamonds to build something faster, sure, knock yourself out. But now that it's coming over to console games, it's becoming a problem because when it's just a cosmetic thing, it doesn't bother me. Hey, if you want a new skin for your character, you want a new outfit, a cool, addition to your gun, whatever. Right. But when you're giving people more powers or letting them level up faster or giving them stronger weapons, then I feel like you're cheating the other players who can't afford to pay money to do that.
The poorer people a disadvantage.
Exactly. They have to grind out and, work to get to that level, whereas opposed to, hey, if I got the money, I can just shell out some cash and they'll go ahead and take care of it for me, and it's no big deal. And I find that to be bullshit.
Yeah. Doesn't that defeat the purpose of playing the games?
Kind of, sort of.
Well,
now,
because, like, with games, you play them and you get really good at them.
Right.
Like, I know all of us are Mario experts. Right. We've played that Super Mario Land so many times that we can beat Bowser just, in snap of the fingers. But aren't this thing that you're talking about, what did you call them? Microtransactions, yeah. Doesn't that kind of limit that a lot?
Yeah. I mean, in ways, like, I can see both sides of it. I definitely can see the obvious side of the gamers. Of people who can't afford to pay money into the game. They feel like it's cheating, especially if it's a competitive game where you're playing against other players.
Okay,
you're buying an advantage.
Right. A lot of these Metal Gear games are.
They're usually stealth games, and recently there's been more multiplayer aspects to it, but for the most part, they're usually single-player campaigns. So it usually doesn't affect other players, usually, what you can do with microtransactions.
Okay.
But I mean, say, for example, games like Battlefront 2, which is EA's Star Wars game.
Okay.
They had a lot of microtransactions on there where it's like, oh, you want to play as Darth Vader? You got to pay for him. Oh, you want to play as Luke? You got to pay for him. Oh, you want to get this color lightsaber? You got to pay for it. And it's like, or you could grind it out, and people had done math and figured out, oh, it would take, 100 hours to get this character unlocked and, 600 hours to unlock this person. It's like, well, who the fuck has time for that? Especially when a game is new and it's like, you get it, you want to play with all the toys. Like, you don't want to be like, oh, you can play with this toy if you give us some extra money. Like, I already paid you for the fucking game.
Yeah, those games are expensive.
Yes. Stop trying to get me to shell out more money. And my issue with, but like I said, I can see the other side of it. Whereas I work full time, I do the podcast and stuff like that. So sure. I don't have a ton of time to play games like I used to.
Sure.
So I can understand, like, hey, I want to play this game, but I know I can't commit to grinding out like I would need to get the full advantage of it. So I'll pay some extra money and get me to a different level faster, or get me or a different, gun or something like that, whatever.
Right.
So I can kind of understand it, but with this, I find it bullshit, because basically what they're doing is they're taking away basic functions of a game that anybody would expect to have there, and now they're trying to charge you money for it. Like, it's ridiculous to think that they are making these tiers for these in-game currency to get things where you actually have to pay out money, real money, to get them. Now, the big fuck you from Konami is apparently, and I'm also getting this from GameRant.com, apparently there's only one save slot on the game.
Okay.
And, yeah. It's... okay, here. I'll just read you directly what it says. Okay, it says... here, let me scroll up here. Since this announcement, Metal Gear Survive has been the subject of sharp criticism from Metal Gear Solid fans for a wide range of reasons. One reason why Metal Gear Survive has been criticized is due to its heavy use of microtransactions, with some costing as much as $50 at launch, which we just talked about. Now that fans actually have their hands on the game, it's been discovered that microtransactions extend beyond just performance boosters, but are actually required if anyone wants to make a new character without deleting their old one. Basically, what they go on to talk about is there's only one save slot in the game. If you want to create a secondary character with a different loadout, hey, say you made a male character the first time, and now you want a girl character. Or you made this character really good with sharpshooting, and you want to make another character that's close range. You either have to delete the original character that you created and start a new save, or you can pay Konami $10 and they will give you a new save slot to save over. Now, if you have $1,000 of their in-game currency, their survival coins, then you can do that. But if you don't have the coins and you just want to buy the in-game currency, it's $10 to get the amount of coins that you would need to get the other save slot.
Wow.
That's fucking horseshit. It's bullshit. I can't believe that we have gotten to the point where game developers have said to themselves, like, we can just charge them for any fucking thing and people will pay for it. Like, if we just put a paywall in front of it, they'll pay for it because they're fucking stupid. Like, it's insulting to my intelligence to say to me that we've come this far with technology, but suddenly now we're going backwards to where I can only save one character at a time, and to open that up, I have to pay money for it? That's bullshit. There's companies that come out with DLC for $10. That's like a whole other fucking game, but I gotta pay y'all $10 just to make another save? Like, it was... I couldn't believe that they had the balls to do that. And a lot of people already don't like Konami because of how Hideo Kojima left. And, we're kind of saying they weren't going to buy Metal Gear Survive regardless because of what went down. But this, it's just like, Jesus Christ, like, what are we trying to do here? Like, do you want people to buy your game? Or are you just, like, trying to tell people from the get-go, hey, don't come spend your money with us because we going to just continually ask for more of it for just basic shit.
I I don't know. What video games have had a very large advancement since they first started. Mm-hmm. And it kind of makes me feel like, all right, you have this one save and you can't do anything past it. It's kind of like looping back to, original video games where you had, in Mario, you can rack up 99 lives, but if you turn that console off or somebody trips over it, your ass is back to 5. That's it. That's all you get.
You couldn't complete that level that night, or if you couldn't get through that boss, you was just fucked. Because you'd have to do that shit all over again. Yep. But then again, at the same time, to be fair, the amount of work and effort that it took to get to that, place, depending on the game and the difficulty level you're playing
sure.
isn't as bad as it used to be. Or, isn't... It could be a lot more difficult now. Because, say, if I had to play Assassin's Creed from the beginning without saving, I'd never fucking beat the game.
Right.
Mario or Sonic, I could feasibly do it. It'd be difficult, but I could do it. But games are so complex now, and the amount of variances that they throw at you now.
So many things for that you have to do. You have to get here and get there. And my brother plays the first person shooter games.
Yeah,
and so he's constantly telling me, "Oh yeah, I gotta do this or I gotta do that," or he plays the Batman Arkham games.
Yeah,
and basically anything that's a first person story. Story?
Yeah, story modes,
Story modes, okay.
Yeah. Campaigns, whatever you want to call them, yeah.
Right. And I don't know. It seems like they're making it more difficult for people to actually achieve the game so that their games last longer.
Yes. That's been kind of the thing. Instead of them doing things like Rockstar, for example, who makes the Grand Theft Auto games, or all of their extra content comes out, it's for free. Right. Now, granted, yes, they have microtransactions as well. You can use real money to buy in-game currency to get, better weapons and cars and this, that, and the other, but everything else is free.
Right.
Every time they come out with a new update, a new DLC, it's always free. You never have to pay for it. So I can deal with, hey, especially too, because the game has been around for so long now, that people kind of jump into it at different points in the game's lifespan. So if you just now bought Grand Theft Auto today, that game's been out for how many years now? So it's like you're going to be so far behind everybody else. So I get, hey, if I'm just starting out, I can buy the shit that I need to get to a competitive level to everybody else. So that's fine. I get that because they're giving us all this other free content. So why not? I'm not going to complain about that. But anywho, I wanted to continually beat that dead horse of microtransactions even more because this was just like an egregious example of it, and I just couldn't believe they had the balls to do that. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, like you guys are getting absurd. Like we have to curtail this shit some kind of way, and
don't buy it.
Yeah, exactly. Speak with your dollars. Yeah.
As consumers, we have that power. If they start throwing more and more of these microtransactions in there, and as consumers and video game players, if it don't work, or if we don't like it, stop buying it.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, that's about the only way we're going to send a message, and we have to geekily collect together.
right.
And
right. This is our movement.
Be like, nope, you can't nickel and dime me, man.
Are you going to be the Martin Luther King of this?
Sure. I have a dream that we can all play video games.
Right, one day, first-person shooters and multiplayer games. Yeah.
Poor people.
We can all hold hands and play Grand Theft Auto in peace together. All right, moving on.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about Brainiac. So the Krypton show is coming ever closer. It's coming out on Sci-Fi.
Okay.
And it's basically going to be a prequel to the DC universe, I guess, like before. It feels like it's going to be in the same vein as Man of Steel and all that.
Okay.
But it's not going to be Clark's parents. It's going to be his grandparents. So it's like a few decades before where we are in the current timeline. I don't want this show as a thing. I know that there are some people that are excited about it. The concept of making a show about Superman with no superpowers, not on Earth, doesn't sound appealing to me. It's just another sci-fi show. It's just another show with aliens and shit like that. It's like, yeah, that's cool and all. And they keep saying Krypton and keep showing the Superman ass, but I'm like, he ain't finna fly.
Yeah.
He ain't even in this shit. So I don't...
chasing his bloodlines.
Right. It's just like Gotham. It's like, yeah, that's cool, but where the fuck? Okay, look, you say what you will about that show, but I'm like, don't get me invested in some shit that doesn't have the main character. It'd be like making a show called New York and everybody but Spider-Man is in the show. It's like, why am I watching this shit? It's like, oh, look, there's Eddie Brock, and there's J. Jonah Jameson, and look at Uncle Ben, and it's like, yeah, where's Peter? Oh, well, we're not focused on that. What the fuck am I watching this shit for? If we went and saw fucking Black Panther and he didn't show up until, like, the end credits of the movie, what the fuck did I just sit here and watch? Wakanda the movie? Like, no, I want to see Black Panther.
Wakanda the movie.
Like, what is that? Even though, to be fair, he does kind of leave the movie for, like, a good 20 minutes. But still.
Yeah.
Anyway. No, but I'm not hating on the show, and I know, and I've had some people tell me this too. I don't hate everything. I do like some shit. I know I may sound like I hate everything. You're just very particular. I'm critical of shit, and that's fine. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No.
What I find a problem with is just
what it is they're running out of ideas, and so they're trying
just make a Superman show.
Yeah.
We talked about this off mic too. She likes Smallville. Fuck that show. But again, just make a Superman or just okay. Brainiac is the most interesting villain that Superman has, in my opinion.
Right.
And I've wanted to see a big screen version of him since forever. And the fact that we're doing him in a TV show as opposed to in the movies, because if they do him in the show, they're not going to do him in the movies too.
Right.
Just like. This is the problem they're going to have with Flash. We've had Flash on for 4 seasons of TV now.
Yep.
Y'all ain't even came out of Flash movie yet. So anything y'all do, y'all are just going to be retreading shit that the general population has already seen.
Sure.
And probably seen it done a little bit better because it was a show, so you can kind of flesh it out more.
Right.
You have more time with it. Or they just won't do it at all. Like, I seriously doubt in the Flash's movie, like Professor Zoom or Reverse Flash or any of the characters are going to show up from the show because we've kind of already done them to death, So it's like, well, who wants to see that again?
Yep, they're going to show the ones that aren't on TV.
Exactly. So with this...
They kind of did that with Smallville. Like, they had Lex Luthor there, but he wasn't...
Right, right.
As the series of Smallville come out, I think there's 14 or 15 of them or something. There was a lot. Anyways.
Yeah, however many seasons of that shit, yeah.
I have to ask my Smallville sources. Anyway, they
go to the vault, the Smallville vault.
Hey, you joke, but
I
know somebody that owns every episode of Smallville.
I'm sure somewhere on the internet there is a website or a forum somewhere where there's still people actively talking about Smallville.
Sure,
like they bringing it back. Just wait.
There's still people talking about Buffy. Come on now.
True.
Anyways, my point is they're gonna bring in all these extra characters, and then for the movie, they're gonna be like, who did we not overdo?
Yeah, and I'm upset with that because I want to see Brainiac in a movie. I think that he would have done, like, if they ever get around to making the Man of Steel 2, I would have liked to seen Brainiac be the villain in Superman's next movie.
Sure, that could be cool.
But they're not going to do it now.
No.
And it just feels like a wasted opportunity because just looking at the trailer for this show and just, like, some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, like, they actually put money into this show. Like, they're not just, throwing some shit on the screen. Like, they're actually investing some time and money into trying to build this up and make it good.
Right.
So it's like, why not take all that effort and resources and put it into a movie? Yeah. And build up your failing franchise, which we're going to circle back around to that on this next story. But, I mean, this one was just a little thing that I wanted to make sure to just address. But I'm just like, guys, between Gotham and Flash and Arrow and now Krypton, y'all could have took all these shows and made these movies.
Right.
What Marvel's done that's smart is that they have their main spotlighted characters on the big screen, and then they take C and D list people and they give them their little shows and let them go do their thing. Like Ghost Rider is a cool character on paper, not so much in his own movie per se, but hey, you throw him in on somebody's show, he's a cool ass character. Same thing like with Daredevil. He's a cool character, but watching a movie of him, not so much. But hey, when it could be a gritty crime drama with the mob and all that kind of shit, I would watch that all the time. So it was smart to do these things with these smaller tier, lower level characters. y'all are taking y'all A-list people, Batman and Superman and shit, and it's just like
trying to put them on TV,
giving them these prequel TV shows and shit. And it's like, who the fuck wants to watch Batman Begins again, but even earlier than that? It's like, at least in Batman Begins, he was an adult. I'm like, this nigga's like 12 or some shit. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
I think he's 14 when they start.
I don't give a fuck.
But it doesn't follow Batman. Batman lost his parents when he was a kid.
True.
Now, kid is a vague term.
But I mean, are you current with Gotham, though?
Yes, I am.
So you've seen his bootleg poor man's Batman suit that he's wearing? I'm like, what is this shit?
The hood and some black sweatpants.
I was like, he was not doing this shit at 14 or 16 or whatever.
I do like with Gotham, I like the fact of how they're developing the villains.
I think that's what everybody's draw is to that show.
I think that Commissioner Gordon, I like to see how he's made his way up the ranks. I like that.
Yeah, sure.
I like how all of the villains have come about.
I haven't watched it, but I really like the guy who plays the Penguin.
Okay, yep. Robin Lord something.
I don't know. He's got that weird ass Justin Bieber haircut, but I like him. I like him.
He's one of the better ones.
I like their fake Joker too, Jerome.
There's been so much speculation.
Yeah, that he's the Joker.
He is the Joker. If you have not seen Gotham, I'm gonna
spoil it out here. Spoilers. We can get a siren for.
Yeah, that's it. That's on the list.
Yeah.
But no, they come back at the end of last season, I believe.
Sure.
Because we're in between seasons right now.
Yeah.
We're waiting for the new one. They show a clip of Jerome at Arkham.
Okay.
And he's past, all that crappy backstory that he had. They said he was like a son of a circus woman or something.
Okay.
There was a lot of development for his Joker character.
Okay.
And at the end of the last season, you see him in Arkham, and he's got the staples removed from his face because he cut off his face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which Joker does that in the comics.
But he's got scars now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the infamous Joker scars, and they're pumping him up to be Joker.
Okay.
So I'm quite excited where they're going to take that.
Because in the comics, I believe it's in the Court of Owls storyline, or maybe right before the Court of Owls storyline. Anyway,
that's in Gotham too. So I think that's kind of along the same lines of what they're
because a lot of the stuff they've been doing currently in the comics, they've kind of started incorporating that into the show.
Ra's al Ghul and
yes.
The Scarecrow and all that stuff. Which is cool. It was nice for me to see Scarecrow in a different kind of perspective.
Sure.
Because wasn't he in one of the...
He's in all three of Christopher Nolan's Batman movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I liked seeing him on TV screen.
Sure.
Because he's one of the few Batman villains that... People that are just kind of dabbling in Batman.
Yeah, passive Batman fans.
Passive Batman. They're just like... Who's that?
Yeah, right.
I was asked that question a couple of times.
Like, is that the dude from Wizard of Oz? What the fuck is he doing in this? Like,
dude, that's one of those face palms.
Like, if I only had a brain.
Right. But I don't know. I'm excited for Gotham. I'm excited to see where it goes.
You know what? Eventually, I'm going to get around to giving that show a chance.
Penguin's a recurring role.
Yeah,
he's good on there. The guy that they got to play Enigma.
Yeah, the Riddler.
He plays out now. Let me give you a little bit of insight here.
Sure.
I love Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Yes, me too.
Absolutely loved it. I think that
Your interest was good. His was better. Yes. Yeah.
I loved him as the Riddler. And I know that there's been so many criticisms about the pink hair and the sparkles and the goofy little jokes.
Yeah.
But that made the character for me.
Yeah.
And the same in Gotham. He's got the green suit and the hat.
Oh, yeah.
This split personality thing he's got going on. It's a neat perspective on how the Riddler became the Riddler.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Yeah, no, I love Jim Carrey. I mean, I will admit there's probably some degree of nostalgia there, of why I like that character so much. But I mean, honestly, in my eyes, during that late 90s, mid to late 90s, early 2000s run, Jim Carrey couldn't do no wrong to me. So I was like, from that and The Mask and Liar Liar and The Truman Show, everything else, I was like, anything he was in was gold to me. So I was like, yes, the Riddler, why not? Fine. Yeah. And honestly, I mean, if they wanted to bring that back somehow, I don't know how they could, or just like we're gonna make him the Riddler again and just not acknowledge Batman Forever at all. But
I think that's most people's general.
You know what though? Batman Forever is a terrible movie, but
I still like it.
I can't say that. But the best thing about that movie is Kiss from a Rose by Seal on the soundtrack. That is the best part of that whole movie. That made that movie for me.
I don't know. I liked Jim Carrey.
Don't you ever say something bad about Seal. I was waiting for you.
No. Seal. Props to Seal. You know, that man can sing his heart out.
Yeah, he was fucking Heidi Klum for a while, so I was like, hey, more props to you.
There you go. I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird that Harvey Dent in the 89 Batman was, you know, like a lawyer, commissioner guy.
No, he was, it was Billy D. Williams. Yes, was, could you imagine if they would have left that continuity and Billy D. Williams was fucking Two-Face and God. Batman Forever. Oh, that'd have been so good. That'd have been nice. So good. Oh, God. That'd have been so good. Not that
I didn't like Tommy Lee Jones's performance.
I did not. Because he was trying to be too... It felt the whole time like him and Jim Carrey were competing to see who could be crazier. It's like Jim Carrey, he's all, and shit, and then like Tommy Lee Jones is like, oh, what do we think? And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing?
That
like,
was that border, that cheesy border that came out.
Yeah, man, like what Aaron Eckhart did with Two-Face in The Dark Knight, that was good.
I have to say, you know me, I am not a fan of the Christopher Nolan Batman series by any means, for multiple reasons. Not because Christopher Nolan, actually. Sure. But, well, kind of. Because he did his own thing.
Yeah, he kind of took a lot of...
Talk about that later.
Yeah.
But I like the Two-Face character that was put out. I didn't like the Joker. I hated the Batman.
You blasphemy. You did not say that. Don't let these people... I'm going to have to edit this out, guys.
I did not like Heath Ledger as Joker.
Oh, snap.
Now they're all going to give me horrible names.
Oh, man,
that online Facebook poll.
Fuck her.
Red
hey, remember that? Get this bitch off your show?
Yep, that's it.
That's going to be a meme. That's coming back. Okay. But we have gone...
back on topic.
Yeah, we have gone way off on a tangent now. Like, I totally forgot. We were Krypton is how we started this. But anyway, the whole point...
shows.
Yeah, the whole point of bringing that up was... I feel like we could have used these resources in a better way and made the DCEU, or whatever the hell we're calling it now, better than what it is. Instead of
put this on the big screen, not on the TV.
Don't take your A-list characters and make prequel TV shows out of them. Make Static Shock a show, or some of these other like D-list heroes and shit, like Booster Gold or some shit. Give him a show.
Right.
Don't do this shit with Batman. You could be doing this on movies right now. Anyway.
Sure.
Moving on.
Yes.
Okay. Speaking of Christopher Nolan, Christopher Nolan has come out, and I am getting this from Geek Tyrant. Christopher Nolan has confirmed that he will not be directing Bond 25. And when I say 25, this will be the 25th James Bond movie. So, yeah. I was going to say, every time I hear people talk about superhero fatigue, you just keep making all these superhero movies. I'm like, motherfucker, we on Bond 25. I don't want to hear shit about superhero fatigue, right?
I think that Mission Impossible is going to be the same way. In 15 years, we're going to have Mission Impossible 50.
Tom Cruise, instead of running, he going to have like one of them like electric wheelchairs and like explosions are going to be behind him and shit. And he's like, I'm telling you. Because then Tom Cruise, the only reason I watch his movies now anymore is just to watch him run. Because that's just been a running joke now for years, is that Tom Cruise can run his ass off. If you ever need something from the store, your car break down,
that'll be the next meme. It'll be Tom Cruise's face on the Forrest Gump meme when he's
oh my god, how is that not a thing already? Jesus,
it's on the list.
Research, right? Okay, but anyway, all right,
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, so on GeekTyrant.com, it says, despite rumors and whispers suggesting otherwise, Christopher Nolan is not going to direct Bond 25. News came from the director himself via IO9, where Nolan said the following to those hoping he was secretly gearing up to join the franchise. I quote, "I won't be the man. No, categorically. I think every time they hire a new director, I'm rumored to be doing it. I'd love to make a Bond film at some point, and I think those producers, Barbara and Michael, they do a tremendous job, and Sam Mendes has done a terrific job the last couple films. So they don't particularly need me. So, and then it just goes on to say, the good news here is that Nolan's interested in doing James Bond film at some point, but apparently the upcoming film won't be his to tackle. So Christopher Nolan, a lot of his movies, you can tell he takes a lot of influences from James Bond, like even in the Batman movies, Inception, all this, really just about everything he's done. The Prestige, Memento, like he has a lot of like James Bondy kind of vibes in it. And he's talked about in the past that he wants to direct a James Bond movie, and a lot of people have wanted him to. I mean, he's British, he's already pretty much aping the style of James Bond anyway. So it's like, well, just give him the fucking movie,
right? Give him the character.
Yeah, right. I think what the problem is that Christopher Nolan is a very particular type of director. He's very old school. He likes to shoot shit on film. He doesn't really like digital and stuff like that. So,
right.
Like he's one of those guys where he's a traditionalist, I guess. And basically he wants to be able to go and take the character and do what he wants to do with the character. He doesn't want to necessarily adhere to the lore that's been built up around the character or how they've been perceived in the past by other directors. Kind of like what he did with Batman. It's like, granted, yes, that is Batman in the loosest sense of the word, but that is not the Batman from the comics, nor the animated series, nor even the Tim Burton movies. This is a very different take on Batman, and the Joker especially is a drastically different version of the Joker than what we've known in the past. If you could see the disdain on her face when I just brought that up. But I mean,
we'll talk about that next week.
Right. But no, he basically, I feel like he wants to do it, but he's saying in not so many words that they won't let me do what I would want to do with this character. So I'm going to say no. Right. I think that if they loosened up the reins and gave him kind of carte blanche to do whatever he wanted, he would come in and do it in a heartbeat. And I think it could be good. I mean, I think that his style is more suited to James Bond than the other kind of movies that he does.
Sure.
I don't think he was ever well suited for superhero movies. Not saying he doesn't. I like the Dark Knight trilogy, but those never really felt like superhero movies to me. Those almost felt like a deconstruction of superhero movies.
Yes.
Where it was like, if a superhero really existed, go, like that was kind of, he kept trying to do his like realistic take on it as opposed to.
I wonder if that's why I didn't like it.
I kind of think that people that don't like those movies or just don't love those movies is because
I'm so in tune with the Batman comics.
Oh yeah,
and I grew up watching Batman the animated series, and then of course '89 Batman, Tim Burton Batman's. Even the cheesier ones in the end.
Sure.
They still had an element of comic to them.
Yeah. It was this fantastical thing. And in this, even just look at the Joker, for example. Instead of him falling into a vat of chemicals and having his skin bleached and this, that, and the other, it's makeup that he puts on. He dyes his hair green.
Yeah.
The scars were never a thing in the comics. This was something totally that he did. He always had the crazy grin, but that was because of the chemicals and all that.
Right.
Like, it was never somebody cut my face up and all that shit, so, yeah.
Revelation.
Right. She's like, I know now why I don't like those fucking movies.
I knew that there had to be a reason other than, well, there's lots of reasons.
But yeah, no,
my own personal bias.
I think that he would do good with a James Bond movie. And maybe one day we will see that. Maybe when Bond 30 comes out, we'll finally be to a point where we're like, you know what? We're sick of James Bond. Give it to Christopher Nolan. Let him reinvent the character and do something new with it.
I don't know. Some people are at that point already. But...
Yeah, well, they've kind of been, like, for a while, Daniel Craig, the guy who's currently playing James Bond, he's talked about on many occasions about how he doesn't want to keep doing this. He might not come back. Hell, I think the last 3 Bond movies, there was at some point or another where he said he wasn't going to be in fucking movies.
Right.
But again, with all these things, people are like, oh, well, my artistic integrity and whatever. And then you hear that beep, beep, beep from the dump truck full of money that they backing up to their house. Yeah. They're like, you know what? I'll go ahead and do another one. I wasn't, because of my artistic integrity and whatnot, but I need to pay off this beach house, so I'm gonna go ahead and make this other one.
I got 6 cars. That's 6 insurance plans.
Right. He's like, all these kids' child support ain't gonna pay for it. So,
right.
But yeah, moving on. We watched a trailer right before we started recording, for a movie that's coming out on Netflix called The Outsider with Jared Leto.
Okay.
I love how you say okay. Like, you weren't here. You were like, all right, tell me more.
Sure,
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
I did watch this trailer.
Yeah, you were here. Yeah, I would hope so.
I would hope that we'd be here, considering our recording location tonight. So.
Right. But no, it looks interesting. The last couple Netflix movies have kind of burned me. After Cloverfield Paradox and Bright, I'm like, Netflix, y'all is fucking up, man. Like, there was a time where y'all couldn't do nothing wrong. Everything that was a Netflix original, people were like, holy shit, Netflix, got another movie coming out. Everything has been good. I mean, even a documentaries, How to Get Away with Murder and all that kind of shit. Or, right. I'm sorry, Making a Murderer, not How to Get Away.
I was going to say, How to Get Away with Murder is not a documentary.
No, that's an ABC show with fucking Viola Davis.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, they burned me on the last couple shows, so I'm kind of hesitant about this one. But from the trailer, it does look good. We made a joke after we watched it that it basically looks like John Wick in Japan.
Right.
I mean, even all the way down to the black suit and his hair slicked back and shit.
All kind of gun action.
Yeah, like if Keanu Reeves would have walked past the screen, I wouldn't have blinked twice because I would have totally expected him to be in this. Like, okay,
sure. Like this is a John Wick
knockoff, right? But, basically.
Speaking of,
sure,
they are making. I believe it is Netflix. It's called The Continental.
Okay.
All right. I may not be Netflix, but I know that they're making the show, and it is like all the things that happen.
Oh, at the hotel, yeah.
At the hotel, and Keanu said that he's not going to be the main character, but he is definitely not opposed to making guest appearances.
So it could be a show. That could be cool. That could be really cool.
About.
You know what, though? Another movie did something similar to that. It did. I don't know how well it went over. I don't even think the show's still on the air, but did you ever see Limitless? The movie with Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
He takes a drug and makes him really smart and shit.
I really wanted to watch that. I watched clips of it, though.
Well, it's a pretty good movie. Well, after the movie came out, a couple years later, it came out with a show.
Okay.
And Bradley Cooper actually pops up in that show throughout the season.
Okay.
And basically, it's just a continuation of the story beyond the main character.
Okay.
And that's kind of sounds like what they're doing with the Continental. So I could see, Keanu popping up throughout the show, but it not necessarily be about him.
Right. It's not like you said, not necessarily about him. But
it's the Gotham of the John Wick universe.
And yeah, we're excited for that.
Okay, yeah.
I can't say nothing though. I was excited for Gotham.
No, I would totally watch that in a heartbeat because that was one of the main things that I liked so much about John Wick 2 is how they expanded out.
3's coming out.
Yeah, I really liked how they expanded the other characters and let you into the world more. Like you find out like they have their own like operator systems for how like they put out hits on people and their own currency and the different locations across the globe where they got their continentals and stuff. Yeah, like that made that movie really good. But anywho, basically The Outsider looks like John Wick in Japan.
Yes, it does.
From what they say in the synopsis, and I'm getting this off of Geek Tyrant as well. They said Netflix has released an intriguing first trailer for Jared Leto's upcoming crime thriller, The Outsider. The story is an interesting one as it follows an American soldier, Leto, who is imprisoned in post-war Japan, and he enters the dark world of the Yakuza, adopting their way of life, Jesus Christ, in repayment for his freedom. After he is free, he sets out to earn their respect and repay his debt while navigating the dangerous criminal underworld.
Huh. You wouldn't necessarily
get all that from the trailer. Yeah, I know. It doesn't.
It reads more as a modern set.
I wouldn't have even guessed that it was a time period. Yeah, like I would have just thought.
I saw the old car, but I just figured that
just that somebody's had an old car.
Yeah, Big Paul in the Japanese mafia.
Or he's like, hey man, it's vintage, right? People like the classics.
Hey.
But yeah, no, this looks really interesting. I don't know the director from anything. The supporting cast, there's not any of these names that look familiar.
I think Leto's the only one that kind of stood out in that trailer.
Yeah. But no, I like this. He needs some major league redemption because after his little stint in Suicide Squad, I'm like, I didn't see Blade Runner 2049, but he's in that, and I hear he's good in that.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that either.
But yeah, no, his little run as the Joker is, I'm like, man. And I like him as an actor. I even like his band. I like 30 Seconds to Mars.
I didn't know he had a band.
What's that one? It's their most popular song. The one where it's like, come break me down, bury me. Okay, that song. Yeah, that's Jared Leto. That's who sings that. Yes. He's who sings that song. I know, right? I know. Yeah, he's the lead singer of 30 Seconds to Mars. Yeah.
It's nice when you can see people that, are actors, entertainers, sports people, whatever, whatever you want to do, and they do other things. Like, they kind of double dip.
Yeah. Who is it? Bruce Willis, I think, has a band too. They're terrible. Keanu Reeves has a band too.
Keanu Reeves has a band. There's a wrestler named Chris Jericho. He's got a band.
Oh shit! He always seemed like he was some rocker type motherfucker to me anyway. So
Matt Damon. Matt Damon's had a
that's right. That's right. Yeah. God, what's that movie that Matt Damon's in where he has a really small part? It's basically like one of them like teen movies.
Eurotrip.
Yes, Scotty doesn't know. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay. Anyway.
Now, moving on.
But yeah, no. The Outsider looks good. Looking forward to that. Netflix, please don't put out some more bullshit because your credit with me has been declining steadily over the last year and some change. So please don't fuck this up.
I don't even have Netflix. That's how much Netflix is. It started out, I'm like, yeah, Netflix. And I'm like, I ain't paying for this shit.
Yeah, especially, too, because they started to lose
sponge off of you for Netflix.
Pretty much, yeah. I was saying, that's how we got you to see Cloverfield. Hell yeah.
I was saying I've used it twice. That's it.
There you go. Oh, you need to use that shit up before the month is out.
What am I going to watch?
Just find something to watch on Netflix.
I don't know. I'll probably watch Jessica Jones.
There you go. See, there you go.
Because that looked pretty good. That looked like something I'd watch.
Yeah, see, you haven't even seen Daredevil show either.
No.
Watch that.
Gotta watch Daredevil.
Especially the first season. That is really good. Like, the guy who plays Kingpin in that, holy shit. Like, so much so to the point where I'm pissed off because I know that they're not going to bleed the shows over into the movies.
Sure.
But that Vincent D'Onofrio, that man needs to be Kingpin in Spider-Man's fucking movie. Like, that. When you see it and you see how good he plays that character, you will say the same thing.
Anyways. Oh, I like him.
Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio does a really good job.
I'm putting it on the list, by the way, as we speak.
Yeah, I know. If you hear some little scribbling sounds, yeah, that's what that is. But okay, our very last story, the biggest story, the one that's going to be on the thumbnail, where you haven't seen the thumbnail yet.
I have not. No. It'll be a surprise.
Yeah, it'll be a surprise to her too, but let's just say it'll involve a dumpster fire.
Okay.
So the last story is Joss Whedon has been fired from Batgirl. Joss Whedon, DC announced back in March of 2017 that they were developing a Batgirl movie and that Joss Whedon will be the director. Now,
okay. News to me.
Yeah, for people who may not know who Joss Whedon is, he
directed Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
Show.
Yes. Yeah. He was produced the show, creator of the show.
Yes.
He's did Serenity, Firefly, a bunch of other stuff, but his biggest claim to fame that I think everybody knows him the most for is he directed the first two Avengers movies.
Yes.
And it's especially moreover the Avengers, because that's everybody's favorite. Some people like Age of Ultron, some people don't, but Avengers is, universally the most liked.
Right.
And he also most recently finished doing Justice League, which a lot of people did not like. People were excited about it because Joss Whedon has had a history of making strong female characters like Buffy and Black Widow and stuff like that. And a lot of people didn't really like the way he handled and portrayed Wonder Woman in Justice League, and I agree. I felt like they kind of took a couple steps backwards with her.
Yeah, her movie was amazing. And then in Justice League, she seemed more...
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to go. Anyways.
Right, yeah. But no. I know exactly what you mean. No, I agree.
She wasn't as fierce.
No. She felt a lot more watered down than what she did in her movie.
Correct.
But to his credit, he's done a lot for, making powerful female characters.
Sure.
He, people were excited to see him, directing Batgirl. Mm-hmm. Well, fast forward to February of 2018, he has announced that he will not be directing the movie. Now, I'm getting this from the Hollywood Reporter. Directly, Joss Whedon says that Batgirl is such an exciting project, and Warner/DC such collaborative and supportive partners, that it took me months to realize I really didn't have a story. Whedon on Thursday told the Hollywood Reporter in a statement, referring to DC President Jeff Johns and Warner Brothers Pictures President Toby Emmerich. He added, I'm grateful to Jeff and Toby and everyone who was so welcoming when I arrived and so understanding when is there a sexier word for failed? Whedon came to Batgirl, a project in March 2017 with the hopes of bringing to the big screen a companion to the female empowerment icon Wonder Woman, with this one tied to the most popular character in comics, Batman. Batgirl is Barbara Gordon, the daughter of Jim Gordon. Jesus Christ, Hollywood Reporter. So one of the things I have had to learn about going to some of these websites, sometimes they have an automatic player that just starts, so I gotta mute these things ahead of time. But anyway, they go on to say, but sources say Whedon, after a year of trying, could not crack the code of what a Batgirl movie should be. Wonder Woman, meanwhile, became a cultural phenomenon, as well as one of the biggest hits and most acclaimed movies of 2017. Industry sources add that even as Whedon faced story issues, in today's cultural environment, a male filmmaker may have faced greater public scrutiny if he were to have tackled a movie with lead characters of such feminist importance as Batgirl or Wonder Woman, much like a white filmmaker would have seen backlash taking on the Black Panther movie.
Sure.
So I do agree with some of the things that they say in this. I do feel like with, Black Panther being directed by a black man, Wonder Woman being directed by a woman, that it would be kind of
empowerment kind of thing.
Right. It's kind of like, well, we're trying to tell this story and we're trying to empower these,
Isn't that the point of superheroes, is to empower
these minority demographics,
sure,
but then we're turning around and it's like, or we're going to give the white man, the movie,
right?
And we're trying to empower women, where there's plenty of women directors who could do this. So in that aspect, I see what they're doing and I agree with this, but for them to wait a year before they came to this point, I kind of call bullshit.
You know what it was, is they were waiting for the numbers on Justice League. They were wanting to see how Justice League was perceived. And then they were going to, tell him, we're going to go with your story, or no, we're going to kind of back off.
Yep, I'm
they cannot afford another Warner Brothers flop.
No.
I would put money on that.
No, I agree.
And I'm not a gambling kind of girl.
No, I 100% agree with that, because I think that when he had to swoop in and try and quote-unquote save Justice League after that movie came out, and it still got fucking... Because, as well, sidebar, Black Panther has now officially crossed, I think, over $500 million now.
Something like that.
So it's all well on its way to hitting the $1 billion club. Well on its way. And... there's reason to, an argument can be made that, people at the studio looked at this and seen how successful Black Panther was and said, hey, 700 million. Okay, so
as of 8 hours ago, according to Forbes.
Yeah, that's worldwide. Yeah, so it is well on its way to the $1 billion club. I've even heard people making inklings that it may join the $2 billion club. I don't know if it's going to quite get that much. I don't think it's going to hit $1 billion, but
I don't know. It's only been 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I know,
and it's $700 million.
True, it could do it. It's really going to depend on how.
Okay, CNN Money says...
Okay.
Come on, pull up this website here. Black Panther roars past 700 million worldwide in 2 weeks.
Real quick, do they gotta keep making the puns? Like, it drives me crazy. Like, I saw some other headline, like, Black Panther leaps over expectations. And I'm like, oh, God.
I don't know. All right, let's see. It's still wearing at the box office. The Disney Marvel film was #1 film in the U.S. for the second weekend in a row, with an estimated $108 million at the box office.
Yeah, over last weekend.
Just last weekend. Mm-hmm. Becomes only the 4th ever film to cross $100 million in its first weekend.
Second weekend,
yeah. I'm sorry. Joining Star Wars, The Force Awakens, Jurassic World, and The Avengers. Mm-hmm. Black Panther has now crossed the 700 million mark globally in just 2 weekends, and will cross 400 million domestically on Sunday as of its 10th day of release. This film has yet to open to China or Japan.
Yeah, so we're still waiting to get numbers back from them, which China has been historically bad about, black actors and movies with black people. Like back when The Force Awakens came out, there was this big controversy because Finn, they basically erased him off of the Chinese version of The Force Awakens poster.
Okay.
Like when the first movie came out, before we knew that Rey was a Jedi and it wasn't Finn, and all the promotional material, they always showed Finn with the lightsaber. So
right.
that's what got me so excited. I was like, the black dude is he's the Luke Skywalker of this shit, and then he's not, and it's just like, well, what the fuck? Why even pretend like he was?
Right.
But anyway, but up until that point, all the posters had him with the lightsaber on the cover and everything else, and then when the poster came out in China, he's like, wee itty bitty in the corner, real tiny, and it's like he's like the second main character of the movie, and they pretty much wiped him off the fucking poster. So people are kind of leery about how it's going to do over in China. So we'll see.
Well, even if it doesn't hit China, like it's hit everywhere else.
Yeah, I think it's going to make so much money domestically. Yeah, I think it's going to make so much money here in the U.S. that it's going to offset any
$400 million in 2 weekends.
Exactly,
Jesus.
It's going to offset, because usually most movies' budgets, or their take home, most of their money comes from overseas. Like a good chunk of it comes from China. Most of their money isn't made in the U.S. anymore.
Right.
But this is different because of the cultural significance of the movie here in the United States. That, especially the political climate and everything that we're in.
Sure.
I know we've completely stopped talking about DC and Joss Whedon, but we're gonna get back to it.
I would say we're coming back to it.
Yeah, we're gonna tie this back in. I know. My DC people, I love you. I don't hate DC. I know it may sound like I do. I know seeing the thumbnail to this.
I would say saying that and wearing a Marvel comic shirt.
I know, right. And I'm like, in the thumbnail to this is me calling DC a dumpster fire.
I would say I'm repping DC. I got the Batman ring.
but
and the slippers.
I expect more from them. And that's why I think I'm so critical of them, because I'm like, look at what Black Panther has done compared to your last movie, Justice League. Black Panther in just 2 weeks has made more money here than Justice League made during its entire run in the United States. Yep. By the end of this next weekend, Black Panther, I think, will have made, if it hasn't already, more money than Justice League made worldwide during its entire run. So, and I'm like, this is fucking pathetic. These are the best goddamn superheroes that have been put to paper, and y'all are throwing it away. We talked about who gave a fuck about Captain America or Iron Man or any of these people before the Marvel movies came out. They took the D-list character. They couldn't even use Spider-Man, X-Men. They A-list characters, and they somehow brought these motherfuckers up to billion-dollar movies to where motherfuckers is losing their mind to see Avengers Infinity War. Yeah. And this is your Justice League movie, and people could give 2 squirts of piss. Could not care less.
I really hope that the Batgirl movie surpasses that. I didn't even know there was a Batgirl movie in work.
Yeah, they've been throwing so much shit against the wall trying to see what sticks. It was the Flash movie was supposed to came out this year.
Yeah, before I believe. Justice League, wasn't it?
No, it was always supposed to come out after.
Closely after.
Yeah, it was supposed to have been this summer, I believe, and then they pushed that shit back to, we don't know when that shit's coming out. We ain't got no director, no writers on that shit still. We might, but shit, they might quit tomorrow because they've already gone through 3 directors and a bunch of different writers for that movie. The Cyborg movie was supposed to be a thing. They got rid of that. And they said
the only thing we got left is Aquaman. He's shooting for December, by the way, for those of you that don't know.
Yeah, the Aquaman movie, which I almost brought up a story about that as well, where I was going to talk about how they did some test screenings at Warner Brothers, and some executives have seen it, and they said that they like it. But they said that they like Batman vs. Superman, and they said that they like Suicide Squad, and they said they like Justice League, and they lied to me all those other times, so I'm like, who fucking knows?
Let's see if they can get... I'd actually like to see the director that did Wonder Woman come back for Batgirl.
You know...
That could work.
I could buy that. I've even had people say, and I can kind of agree with this, I would like to see Patty Jenkins is the lady's name.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to see her direct the next Superman movie.
That'd be...
Because Wonder Woman was more of a Superman movie than Man of Steel was by far. Just the way that they characterize her and how... Yes, she's naive, but she has noble intentions and stuff like that. Right. That's what Superman was supposed to have been like.
Right.
But instead, it's all mopey and depressed and shit. Yeah, and I'm like, come on, he breaking niggas' necks and shit. And I'm like, this ain't fucking Superman. Anyway, Joss Whedon, I think part of the reason, like, DC has this real big problem with trying to do, like, damage control anytime they get rid of somebody. When we talked about last week, Zack Snyder not being, with Justice League anymore, and they're like, oh, well, his daughter committed suicide, he needed time to grieve, and this and the other. It's like, his daughter committed suicide months before he left the fucking movie. If he was that fucked up over it, which he has every right to be, and I get it, everybody grieves differently, but you would have been like, you know what, I can't do this, I gotta be with my family, y'all gonna have to get somebody else come in and finish this shit up. Instead, you get him to come in, Joss Whedon to come in, and then later, almost a year later, it comes out, we pretty much fired him, and we was just letting him save face by saying that, he needed to go grieve or whatever. Because now with this, Joss Whedon's like, I just couldn't crack the story. You telling me you've been working on this shit for a year, and you ain't even figured out what the fuck the story is gonna be? I mean, it ain't like this character's not been in comic books for decades. Right, it's not like this character doesn't have multiple variations of her origin story in the comics. She ain't been in cartoons. Hell, Alicia Silverstone played her in fucking Batman. Was that Batman and Robin?
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, don't tell me you can't figure out how to work her into this shit. Like, man, no. Either one.
It's not like they're starting with a blank slate either.
Exactly.
There's already a universe.
They have pre-established the universe. Robin exists and has been here and dead. The Joker's here. All his other villains. They even make a reference to the Penguin in Justice League and shit. Alfred said something about penguins or whatever. And I'm just like, so clearly, as far as Batman and his rogue gallery and supporting characters go, has existed, and he says, like, fighting crime in Gotham for 20 years or whatever.
Right.
So you could easily find a way to work her in there. I think either one or two things happen. Either A, he did come up with a story, they didn't like it, or just after, like you said, how people reacted to Justice League, it was like, nigga, you were supposed to come in here and fix this shit, and motherfuckers, it either still ain't happy, or the shit that you changed, they don't like that either.
Right.
So, I think it was a combination of a reaction to that, and the fact that they probably didn't like the story that he wanted to tell, or it could be both of these things, or Joss Whedon has had a lot of controversy lately. Him and his wife separated. She came out with a story talking about how he had been cheating on her for years and been sleeping with a bunch of actresses and stuff that he had worked with. And, he's supposed to be this big champion of women and feminism and stuff like that. But then behind the scenes, he's supposed to be like this womanizer, and he's unfaithful to his wife and this, that, and the other. And in the wake of the Me Too movement and everything else, I think...
I can see that.
People would be like, so you got this dude who, was sleeping around with his wife and, smoozing with all these women in Hollywood, and he's supposed to be directing, this female empowered character.
Yeah,
like, I could have easily seen people turning sour to that shit. So I think it was probably a combination of those two things or three things. Or
probably just for the best.
Right. Yeah, it's in the long run, I think that if they want to be serious about making a Batgirl movie and making people get invested in this character, like we got people invested in Wonder Woman, like we got people invested in Black Panther and stuff like that, then they need to try to avoid as much controversy externally as possible.
Sure.
Like, you don't want any drama that's not directly involved with the movie to be shaping people's opinions about the movie. It's like you wouldn't want, you wouldn't want a convicted sex offender, making anything for you because any of his baggage is going to cloud everybody's judgment about the thing that he's making.
Yeah, that whole guilty before...
Yeah. proven innocent thing.
Proven innocent until further notice.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, he didn't pull a Bill Cosby. He didn't drug nobody or rape anybody, nothing like that.
No, but still, if you're gonna give a woman empowerment movie to,
we need to empower you to speak better.
Apparently, we're gonna give a woman empowerment movie to a man, which is a risky thing, anyways. Especially like you said with the whole Me Too movement and everything like that. It's just. It's not a good idea to pick one that's got some, scarlet letter attached to it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Mm-hmm.
You don't want that. It's gonna cloud their judgment before they even see it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they would have preconceived notions of the movie that they wouldn't have had if you would have got somebody who didn't have baggage coming into it.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's it. No, did we? I think we hit everything.
I think so. Yeah. So
I
don't know. I have to do something for this memory thing because I feel like I'm 80 years old, losing my memory, and can't recall. Oh my god, I can't.
See, look, I was gonna say we need to empower her with the power of speech. But
I can't recall short-term facts. Mm-hmm. So I need to get on that and fix that.
But yeah, no, there will be. We're gonna do a poll on Facebook. We're definitely gonna figure out a name for Melissa. We're gonna get her something sweet.
Sweet, cool, please.
So she can have a cool little nickname like me. But no, I have given her a job because I feel like I need to distribute some of the workload a little bit. So
well, I mean, if I'm gonna be here, I might as well pull my own weight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we are going to have her. This will be Melissa's corner segment at the tail end of these, where she will tell you how to contact us. And we're going to make a really awkward transition into this until we figure out
you should have
a smoother way to do it.
Find us on Twitter at Giant.
Okay, wait. Start over.
You're confusing these poor people. All right, you can find us on Twitter at the word Giant, the number 4, Geeks, all one word, smushed together like Twitter does. And
Wait, no. It's Giant Leap. The number
Giant
4
Leap. See,
okay.
You confused me because you had it wrote the wrong way.
Did I really?
I think so.
Don't say that.
No, it was probably me.
No, yeah,
got that short term everything. Okay, Giant Leap. The number 4 Geeks, and anywhere that you listen to podcasts, iTunes, Libsyn, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. One Giant Leap for Geeks. So look us up, share us with your friends, send us some feedback, and get on that Facebook poll.
Yes, this is important.
Should be up by, the end of the week?
Oh, yeah, it'll be up by Monday.
Okay, so the end of the weekend.
Yeah, and we're recording this on Sunday,
so
to give you context.
Yep. All right, so let's pick out a cool name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
and I think we'll call it a wrap.
Yeah, no, that's it. Bye.
Bye.